Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थितदद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Om. Namaste everyone once again.
Namaste Guruji.
Stay. Dravya yajnastapo yajna yoga yajnastatha pare swadhyaya jnana yajnascha yatayah samshritavratah. So we are discussing the 12 yajnas which Bhagavan Krishna talks about in these verses. That is from verse 25 to 34. And of these, we have seen 5 yajnas, namely Brahmajnana yajna, Daiva yajna, Indriya Sanyama yajna, Vishaya Nigraha yajna, and Atma Sanyama yajna or Shama yajna. And in this sloka we are discussing, he talks about 5 more yajnas, of which we discussed Dravya yajna or Dana yajna, varieties of charity, either in terms of money or in terms of material or in terms of knowledge. Importantly, knowledge sharing without any reciprocative benefit. Then only it will become a dhanam. If you are conducting classes and teaching people and charging for that, then it is not dhanam. That is business. So dhanam only when it is done without any expectation of any kind, even a thanks is not expected, should not be expected, then only it will become a dhanam rather. These are very important points we have to note. And then we discussed the tapo yajna. Tapas means mastery of the sense organs, which is achieved by willful self-denial to establish my mastery over my own organs. Therefore, tapas means I say no to whatever I regularly use. And it includes all types of austerities, including fasting or other disciplinary activities undertaken for pilgrimages, etc. The vratams observed during occasions like Shivaratri, Ekadashi, other festive occasions, all will fall under tapo yajna, because in the practice of all of them, there is a self-denial involved. I don't succumb to the cry of the organs, including hunger or physical discomfort. And this is tapo yajna, which includes all types of vratams. And in that context, we saw in the last class, the vratam, 41 days vratam, which pilgrims undertake for going to Shabarimala. One of the most difficult, challenging vratams. For 41 days continuously, they need to practice. Of course, people may question, do they do it really or not? Once upon a time, they were doing it. Now also, some people may be doing it. For many people, going to Shabarimala has also become like something like a picnic rather. They take a flight, go and then visit and then come back. No vratam, nothing. Maybe one day vratam they may keep. But the traditional way in which the vratam is kept, it is one of the greatest tapas that we can perform in this Kali Yuga rather. Then the next is Yoga Yajna. Yoga Yajna means the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, the eightfold discipline prescribed by Patanjali Rishi. It's a very beautiful system to integrate one's personality. Because as we have seen, we have got 4 layers. Sukshma Sharira, which is Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. Of course, Annamaya is Stula Sharira and the other 3 are Sukshma Sharira. Annamaya is disciplined by yogasanas, so that I can sit in a posture for 1 hour or more without any disturbance. That is what today popularly is known as yoga. Somebody says, I am practicing yoga, means he or she is doing yoga asanas. Asanas is only one of the limbs, one of the 8 limbs of the yogasana or yoga, Ashtanga yoga. So Annamaya is taken care of by asanas. Then pranayama discipline. We have got pranayama for manomaya discipline, meditation. In fact, pranayama actually helps in calming the mind. That is why before meditation, if you are going to sit for meditation, on some objects, you have got some alambanam. Before that, it is advised that you should do 10, 15 pranayams. Mind will calm down. Then you do the meditation. So, pranayama is for manomaya discipline. Then vijnanamaya discipline, what is prescribed is swadhyaya. See, the Ashtanga Yoga is a brilliant scheme devised by Patanjali Muni. And it integrates, it takes care of every aspect of our entire functioning. It is like a music program, in which a musician, the violinist, the percussionist, they're all there. And when they all function in harmony, you get a beautiful musical concert. But imagine if the musician is singing in one talam or beat, the mridangist is playing another beat, the violinist is playing yet another beat. who will listen to such a music concert? So if we take our whole life as a music, mind as an instrument, sense organs are instruments, body is an instrument, breathing is an instrument. And when there is a coordination between all of them, then life will become music. It becomes a symphony. Otherwise, what? A cacophony only, like what we are now experiencing. Only noise. And therefore, Ashtanga Yoga integrates the personality, and that is the third yajna Krishna is prescribing for seekers. And as I told you, Ashtanga Yoga does not mean just me, doing only yogasanas. Starting from Yama Niyama, you have to go right through asana, pranayama, dharana, right up to samadhi stage. Regular practice of this Ashtanga Yoga is what Krishna is prescribing. Then the fourth yajna is Swadhyaya Yajna, which is Parayanam of the scriptures. Learning to chant is also Parayanam. Memorizing the scriptures is also Parayanam. Even regular chanting, daily whatever Vishnu Sahasranamam chanting, Lalita Sahasranamam chanting, all this will come under Parayanam. A sadhaka has to do all these things regularly. You have come to Advaita Vedanta does not mean that you can just give up all the other things. So, Parayanam consists of three things. First, learning to chant with proper pronunciation. That's very important. Akshara Shuddhi is must. Thereafter, in the olden tradition, since books were not there, memorizing the scriptures was an important part of Swadhyaya. There are people even today who have memorized the entire Vedic scriptures and they can chant them at ease. And there is another reason for memorizing. When you memorize an entire portion, you will get a total picture and understanding of that portion. Otherwise, what will happen? You will understand each idea, but they will all be standing in the form of islands. If you take, for example, we are studying the fourth chapter. When you are coming to the 30th sloka, you will not remember what you have seen in the first 8 slokas. But if you memorize the whole chapter, you will get the total picture. So, when you are studying the 24th sloka, you will be able to recall and relate to what was said in the 9th sloka or what was even said in the second chapter without having to turn the pages. So memorizing becomes very useful for Mimamsa, for analysis. And that is why, Swami Paramarthananda says, since the practice of memorizing is no longer prevalent, we have to have a summary at the end of each chapter. If all of you would have memorized each chapter and known the meanings, memorizing not merely the words, also with the meanings, then there is no need for all this, the summary, etc. And that is why, for aiding the memorizing part, they developed two forms of literature. One is called the Sutra literature, and another is Shloka, which is set to certain metrical, certain meters, certain tunes. So when it is in a sutra form, it's all capsule statements. Brahma Sutra Atatho Brahma Jigyasa Janmadyasya Yataha Shastrayo Nitvat Tattva Samanvayat Ikshatena Shabdam. These are all, each sutra contains material for lectures or teaching for several hours. Atato Brahma Jigyasa itself, one can talk for a week. Provided, of course, what it means and what the sutra wants to convey. So they developed this kind of a sutra literature, and we have got a lot of sutra. Brahma Sutra is a great biggest example for us. Yajnavalkya Sutra is there. So many other sutras are there. Everything is in capsule form. And the entire Vedanta Shastra, if you memorize Brahma Sutra, you have memorized the entire Vedanta Shastra. All Upanishads, everything you have memorized. You may not know in which Upanishad what is said, but the crux of that, because that is not important. What is important is what is the message of the Upanishads as a whole. Is there any contradictions? If so, how do I resolve the contradiction? Are the messages of the Upanishads contradicting my own personal experience, my logical thinking? Is it contradicting reason? All these, answers to all this is there, and they are presented in sutra form. So that we can easily memorize those sutras and then recall those. Once you say Atato Brahma Jigyasa, then you will know what it all means if you have studied it rather. And another method that was devised was the metrical composition. You can sing tunes, it is easier to memorize. That's why, children will memorize all film songs. You ask them to memorize one chapter in their some book, they will not be able to do that. Because that's why for easy memorization, things are set to certain meters, certain tunes. In fact, Bhagavad Gita, whole Bhagavad Gita you can memorize because it is in a metrical form. It is not in a prose form. Prose form very difficult to memorize. Thus, sutras, sloka forms are uniquely devised for committing the whole thing to memory, and they all come under Swadhyaya Yajna. And conversely, because we should commit to memory, they never used printed or written version of the book. Even today, when you go to Patashala and all that to study Vedas, they don't use any books. We are not supposed to use books when we study. Therefore, memorization becomes very important. You should know the fourth chapter without referring to the book, which will be possible only if you memorize the whole chapter. Of course, having said that, in today's world, today's day and time, especially when we are learning all these things after retirement sort of, it is not very easy to memorize rather. Even to memorize a few slokas, we will find it very difficult. But I'm talking about that. What is the system? What is this yajna about? Is all about. Swadhyaya yajna is all about. Even now in Rishikesh, in some ashrams, if a young brahmachari goes to study, The first thing they do is give him the book, Bhagavad Gita. They will ask him to memorize the whole Bhagavad Gita and come back. Many of them don't come back. Of course, that's a different matter. So they have a very rigid discipline, rather. And this Swadhyaya Yajna, therefore, is very, very useful. And above all, there is one more glory to that. All the scriptures, they are associated with Bhagavan, Ishvara, and the rishis. And the beauty is that when you do Parayanam, sooner or later, you will develop a desire to know the meaning. Initially, you may do it as a routine, but one day or the other, the very Parayanam will change your mind and you will become curious to know the meanings. And this happens to most people who regularly chant Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam, etc. In fact, I did that course on Vishnu Sahasranamam meanings only because some students of other classes requested me whether I can teach, because they are regularly chanting Vishnu Sahasranamam, and they asked me whether I can teach the meanings of Vishnu Sahasranamam. And thankfully, Puja Swamiji, Dayanand Saraswati's book was there, and that was very helpful in teaching. So this desire to learn the meanings comes. And for this reason, Swadhyaya Yajna is considered as a very important sadhana. And this automatically leads to the next yajna, Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna is what? Study of the meaning of the scriptures. Inquiry, analysis into what the message of the scriptures are. So in Swadhyaya, you learn to chant and memorize the scriptures. That is called Shabdagrahanam. And the study of the meaning of the scriptures is Jnana Yajna, that is called Arthagrahanam. In the first, you learn the words. In the second, you know the meaning. And that is why, they used to start the Swadhyaya in early ages itself. They used to do the Upanayanam, 5th year, 7th year, 9th year, and send the boy to the Gurukulam, to the ashramam, Veda Patashala. Veda Adhyayanam they used to do. In fact, in some very traditional families, 5th year of the child itself, they will do the Upanayana. Adi Shankara, 5th year he got Upanayana. So like that. And then they spend about 12 to 15 years in the Gurukulam. The boy would learn the whole Veda chanting, memorize the mantras. Then for the next few years, the learning of the meanings will follow. Learning of the meanings is a very important part, because when they come out of the Veda Patashala and become Purohits, priests, etc., and then they are assisting the Yajamanas in conducting the rituals, they should know the meaning of what they are doing. Otherwise, they will not be able to tell this. What exactly, somebody may ask, what is the meaning of all these things? So, learning the meaning, this Jnana Yajna becomes very, very important. Now, there could be a doubt. If, of course, you all carefully followed the previous classes and remember what was taught. Of course, if you don't remember, no problem. Okay, I will reveal what was taught. In the 25th verse, I had said that two yajnas are mentioned. One is Deva Yajna, another is Jnana Yajna or Brahma Jnana Yajna. And in the 28th verse again, Krishna is talking about Jnana Yajna. So it appears like a repetition. Now the question is it a mistake? Because we don't expect any mistakes in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? If not, how to understand the two references to Jnana Yajna? That's a question. In fact, when we talk of scriptural knowledge, we talk of two types of knowledge. Paravidya and Aparavidya. In the 25th verse, the Jnana Yajna mentioned is Parajnanam, Paravidya, spiritual knowledge. Brahmajnana Yajna it is. Aham Brahmasmi is the final understanding one needs to reach by this Parajnanam. Whereas the Jnana Yajna, here Jnana Yajna means all other sciences, disciplines like Karma Kanta Jnanam, all the, the Purva Bhaga, Veda Purva Bhaga, knowledge of scriptures, rituals, Tarka Shastra, knowledge of logic. Because the old scriptures involve logic also. The knowledge of logic, the knowledge of Mimamsa Sastram, all are important. And the Jnana Yajna mentioned here is that how to analyze the scriptures, Tarka, Mimamsa, Vyakaranam, all these come under this Jnana Yajna spoken in this sloka. They are all secondary disciplines. Very important again for a sadhaka to get a complete overall picture of the entire scriptural knowledge rather. So thus 5 yajnas are mentioned in this sloka. Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya yajna and jnana yajna. We must understand one more aspect, which is that the word dravya yajna does not refer to the yajna itself, but it refers to the sadhaka who practice that yajna. So for dravya yajna means the sadhaka who practice dravya yajna. Tapo yajna refers to who practice tapas. Therefore, it is referring to the people who practice this yajna, and all these people are called yatayaha. They are yatis. Literally, yati means a sannyasi. Yati rajaha. A great sannyasi is called yati rajaha. In fact, Swami Paramarthananda says, and looks correct also, in those who are in Chennai, they know Etiraj College. That word Etiraj has come from Yati Raja. A great sannyasi is called Yati Raja. So Yataya means a sannyasi. And in this context, Yatihi means any committed spiritual seeker, one who does not approach spirituality casually, who does not approach spirituality in an amateurish way, half-hearted approach. I will attend the class and learn whenever it is convenient. Attending classes is very low on my priority as compared to all other laukika commitments. Even if I have got some guests at home, that visit becomes more important for me than my learning. So, with this kind of an approach, the benefit will not come. The sought benefit is moksha. Moksha will not come. These people, they are not yatihi. The one who takes up scriptural study as top priority excludes himself from all other activities only to study the scriptures. Such a person is called yatihi, even if he or she is a grihastha. So we must understand what a yati is. Therefore, yataya means committed seekers. Excuse me. And not only they are committed seekers, they are samshita vrataha. They are people of firm resolve. Samshitam means tivram. Vrataha means resolve. That means what? Once they take a vow, they practice, whether it is any of the five yajnas we talked about. They decided Ekadashi, I will not eat, or on Ekadashi day, I will eat only once during the day, or I will have only milk and fruits only, or I will do Nirjala Ekadashi, even water I will not drink. Once they decide, they take a sankalpa, they follow it. And of course, the natural unfortunate thing is that the moment you take a vow, the next day itself there will be some obstacle. What obstacle? You have taken a vow for Ekadashi Vratam not to eat anything, and you find that you at your home they have prepared your favorite dish. And they will insist, just taste it. No, you like it so much. What Ekadashi and all fine. What is more important is the mind and not the all this practice. All lectures you will get. And if you are weak, you will decide, okay, I will postpone this Ekadashi Vratam to next week or next Ekadashi. Today I will have this favorite dish. In fact, if you read these Puranic stories, Nayanmar stories, etc., you will find the message of all this is that when you take a resolve, take a sankalpa, stick to it. And mind you, Bhagavan will come and test the devotee. Therefore, unless we have a willpower, spirituality is impossible. A person of weak will can never progress in spirituality. And therefore, Krishna admires them. He says they are all samshita vrata, people of firm determination. So now with this sloka, how many sadhanas we have got? 10 sadhanas. 5 in the previous verses, 5 in this sloka. 10 sadhanas. Now we'll go to the next sloka. Apane juhvate pranam, prane panam tatha pare, pranapanagati rudva, pranayama parayanah. So the Anvaya of this sloka is Apare pranayama parayanah juhvati kim pranam apane kutra apane apanam prane tata rudva prana panagati. Apare, others. Pranayama parayana hai, those who are committed to pranayama. Chuhvati, offer. pranam, exhalation, apane, into, we have to add the fire of, apana agni, fire of inhalation. Then apanam, inhalation, prane, into the fire of exhalation. They offer tata, and rudwa, restraining, prana apana gati, the movement of both inhalation and exhalation. So the simple meaning is, committed to pranayama, others offer exhalation into the fire of inhalation and inhalation into the fire of exhalation, restraining the movements of both inhalation and exhalation. So in the previous sloka, Krishna talked about Ashtanga Yoga, of which pranayama is one of the sadhanas. But looks like Krishna from a spiritual sadhaka point of view, and which I also pointed out, meditation, how pranayama becomes very important. Krishna feels that he needs to talk more about this pranayama sadhana, which is, of course, also a useful spiritual discipline. Because when we study the different layers of our personality, we find that Annamaya is the grossest layer, the physical body. Then the next interior layer is Pranamaya, the energy sheath, what we can call. Prana stands for the vital force, our energy. That's the next one. And the next one is Manomaya, the mental personality, emotional or physical, psychological personality. And we find that this Pranamaya comes in between Annamaya and Manomaya. And therefore, if a person disciplines the pranic personality, then it will influence both the Annamaya as well as Manomaya. Because pranayama is intermediary. One side Annamaya, one side Manomaya. And that is why the importance of pranayama is there. If you regularly do pranayama, you can actually regulate lot of your physical activities, including digestion, etc. There are different kinds of pranayama talked about in the Yoga Sutras. Isn't it? Right from Anulom Vilom, Kapalbhati, pranayama, very, very important pranayama, Kapalbhati. So many pranayams are talked about. So pranayama itself is a separate discipline which Krishna takes up for discussion. So when prana is disciplined, physical health will also improve, mental health will improve. And that is why, even before performing any ritual, in the Vedic rituals and all we perform at home, it was kept as a very important sadhana. Shuklam, Bharadaram, Vishnum, when you say that, after that what you do? Om Bhuhu. What is Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuva, Om Swaha? Pranayama alone. You are asked to breathe in, hold your breath, say the mantra for the complete mantra, including Gayatri, and then release. Pranayama. So, pranayama is also of two types. One is pranayama as a physical exercise, as an exercise for improving the health. Then it becomes a secular discipline also. In that context, it becomes a secular discipline when we do it only for physical benefit. But Veda does not want us to practice pranayama as a secular discipline. Veda wants to convert pranayama into a religious discipline. How to make it religious discipline? Make it as a part of any religious sadhana. Sandhya Vandanam, most important sadhana, make pranayama, number of pranayamas. In fact, you do sandhya, those who do sandhya vandanam, they will know how many pranayamas they do during sandhya vandanam. Each sandhya vandanam. And when the pranayama is done, utter the names of the Lord. You can either utter Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna and all. Or if the person knows the traditional pranayama mantra, he can chant Om Bhuhu, Om Bhuva, Om Gum Suva, Om Tapa, Om Ma, Om Jana, Om Tapa. Like that he can chant. The moment a mantra is included, pranayama becomes Sagarbha pranayama. So the pranayama done during Sandhya Vandanam and all pujas, etc., are examples of Sagarbha pranayama. It's a spiritual sadhana. Minus the name of the Lord, just to do pranayama. It is called Agarbha pranayama. It can contribute only to the improvement of your physical health. It cannot improve your spiritual health. So the pranayama which Krishna talks about here, and that's the reason why he is pointing it out. Because as a part of Ashtanga Yoga, it is Agarbha Pranayama. You don't chant anything, any mantra, any Lord's name. Whereas when you are doing pranayama with a mantra attached to it, it becomes what? Sagarbha pranayama. It can improve your spiritual health. It becomes a yajna if a prayer is included in that. And this pranayama is a very huge discipline which is discussed. And special books are written on pranayama. And even advanced courses of pranayama are prescribed for material benefits. Raising the power called Kundalini Shakti is nothing but pranic power only, pranic force, which is a potential force. Kundalini literally means coiled power. You know, any coil has got a power because it works like a spring. Like in a watch and all that, they make this coils, they call it springs, that is what makes the watch go continuously. You actually, when the coil becomes loose, then we used to have olden days the some button to recoil it. It will become again coiled. So coil,
Key to wind.
Wind, yeah, correct. Yeah, rewind, correct. So coil literally represents a potential power. And this Kundalini means potential pranic energy. And of course, it is compared to snake, etc. because snake also is having that, it rests in a coiled form. And Kundala, the word Kundala means
Even
a circle. Sorry?
Electrical energy is also from a coil only.
Yes, electrical energy. So basically, the coil form represents potential energy. So Kundalini means circled form or coiled form, and Shakti means power. Shakti is feminine gender. Therefore, it is called Kundalini, potential power. And we come across this word Kundalini only in Yoga Shastra, but it is not a unique thing. We have got potential power at every layer of our personality. Annamaya Kosha has got Kundalini Shakti. The physical body has got Kundalini Shakti. What is that? Your physical power. We have got running power, which we don't use. When we are sitting, potential running power is there. We can get up and run. But when you are 60, 70, can you do the same running when you did when you were 16 or 17? Now, of course, perhaps you can't even walk properly without the help of a stick. What happened to that power? The power is still there but remains untapped. Only that is why the power has got to be constantly brought into play. If we lead a sedentary life, what happens? By passage of time, that coil uncoils itself and the power is lost. So every day, every period, you have to keep on rewinding that coil. How do you do that? You start, even if you feel very, very tired, not able to do how much so possible, start walking, start running. Maybe the first few days you may be able to do only a little bit, say walk for half a kilometer. Then slowly, slowly, as that's what we say that, we have got the stamina and all. What is stamina? Stamina is nothing but potential kundalini power. Potential power. That is the kundalini at the physical level. And by constantly rewinding that, we can increase the kundalini shakti. So what is a potential power becomes a manifest power. Then at the pranayama kosha level also there is potential power. Manomaya, one's memory, is a power which of course unfortunately we are fast losing, because we are never using the memory power. We are now, so many gadgets are there. Therefore, after some years, we find our memory fading. And that's why, in olden times, even when I was in school and all, use of the memory power, constant use of the memory power was given very, very great importance. All these multiplication tables, we were forced to memorize in the school. Today, those practices are totally gone. Today, you ask a child what is 16 to 15, he will just take a calculator and tell you. Nothing is there, no memory. Many times you are unable to recall even the names of certain persons. And as I said, these electronic gadgets like mobile phone, this calculator, etc., they make it worse. Today, we need not remember the day, date, etc. We are using mobile phones. Moment you want to know the time, don't have a watch, mobile phone. Want to date, mobile phone. We need not remember anything at all. Mobile phone is there. Everything is there. It's actually a mini computer, smartphone. So this memory power is very, very important. And that is a Kundalini power. It is there. Potential power is there. Just because we stop using it. See, any power, any potential power will continue as a potential power only when we regularly use it. Wind, unwind, wind, unwind. Even in nature, for example, there is potential power in the waterfalls, which we tap as hydroelectric power. That is Kundalini, Kundalini Shakti of the waterfalls. So, by the word Kundalini, we must not imagine some kind of a mysterious power, energy, etc. In fact, the Yoga Shastra makes it, those who study Yoga Shastra or Ashtanga Yoga makes it as if it is some very mysterious thing. It's a very simple thing. Only thing is you have to undertake certain sadhanas in order to invoke that Kundalini power. And that's why in pranayama, in advanced courses, etc., they teach to tap the Kundalini Shakti and make it flow upwards, go to the Mooladhara, Swadhisthana Chakra, etc., by which one can get various siddhis. That is the material benefit of Kundalini Shakti. There are big discussions on this. But we should remember as a spiritual seeker that all these are at the materialistic level. They are at anatma level. Raising Kundalini and Atma Jnanam, self-knowledge, has no connection at all. It's just like, bringing out your walking power, as I discussed just now. You have raised your Kundalini power. Now you can walk 10 kilometers without stopping. Great. Big achievement. In fact, this is so attractive. Many sadhakas actually think that if they do all this running and some targeted running, I will run so many kilometers every day, etc., is a big achievement. Nothing to do with your Advaita Vedanta. Can you get moksha by running? All that you have done is you have tapped the Kundalini Shakti of the Annamaya Kosha with pranayama. You may be able to tap the pranic energy of the pranamaya kosha, etc. Similarly, by developing concentration, you can tap the Kundalini Shakti of the mental power, mental Kundalini Shakti. You will be able to improve your mental health. You will be able to increase your willpower. You will be able to increase your Sankalpa Shakti. All this you may be able to achieve, but none of them is moksha. Moksha you can get only through self-knowledge. Therefore, pranayama can be used for getting advanced powers, but in Vedanta, we are positively not interested in materialistic powers. In fact, Patanjali Maharishi himself writes that the siddhis which are attained through invoking the Kundalini Shakti should never be used for material gains, because all siddhis are obstacles. They come under Maya. Therefore, a person who comes for moksha can easily be distracted by these siddhis. So the warning is, be aware. Use the positives of the Kundalini Shakti for purposes of your Vedanta study, for gaining self-knowledge, for developing concentration, for developing sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. Don't get distracted by all the siddhis that you can perform this, you can perform that, you can run a marathon, you can lift weights of some 200 kilos or something like that and all. Don't get distracted by that. That is the message. And that's why Krishna includes it as a sadhana here. And that is why what is pranayama meant for? Simple chitta shuddhi. Pranayama can give you focusing power. Pranayama can quieten the mind. Pranayama will be able to make you breathe smoothly, which will itself quieten the mind. Now our breathing is so erratic. In fact, we don't realize it at all. even when we talk, our talking speed, our intonations that we use, if you connect it to your breathing and consciously do it, your talk itself will become very smooth. Of course, we don't think of all these things. Today, breathing, talking, everything happening voluntarily. But here, they can be disciplined through the pranas. And this pranayama itself is divided into three types: Puraka pranayama, Rechaka pranayama, and Kumbhaka pranayama. Puraka pranayama is that in which inhalation is given importance. Deep breathing in. Purakam means filling up the lungs with the air is called Puraka pranayama. Rechaka pranayama is focusing on emptying or exhalation. Deep exhalation, completely remove all air from your lungs. Inhalation is not the focus in Rechaka. Rechaka means emptying. Third one is Kumbhaka pranayama, wherein the focus, the importance is on retaining what has been inhaled. So it is neither inhalation nor exhalation. In Yogasana, when you do this Kumbhaka pranayama, you inhale, close your both nostrils, and then take your head down so that you lock the windpipe, so that no air escapes. That is Kumbhaka. Even Kumbhaka is supposed to have two types. One is after inhalation, you retain it for a minute or 2 minutes. That is called Antara Kumbhakam, where the air is kept inside and retained. Then the second Kumbhaka pranayama is after exhalation. When there is no air, again you do Kumbhakam, remain for a few minutes, wherein the air is outside, not inside. That is called Bahya pranayama, Bahya Kumbhaka. So Antara Kumbhaka pranayama, Bahya Kumbhaka pranayama are the two types. And Krishna says different people practice different types of pranayamam, and all of them are yajna. With this background information, let us look at the words. Apane juhvati pranam. Here he is referring to Puraka pranayama. Some people give importance to apanam. Apanam means inhalation. In this context, of course, apana has got other meanings also. Inhalation. And prana means exhalation. Apana is inhalation, prana means exhalation in this context. So some people practice inhalation pranayama, in which what is offered? Exhalation is offered. Means when you are inhaling, you cannot exhale. So you offer exhale or make it non-existence. Because when you offer some oblation into the fire, what happens? That oblation becomes non-existence. So in the inhalation pranayama, exhalation is offered. That means exhalation is avoided, and that is puraka. Then apanam prane. We will see that in the next class. Okay. Time. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavadaha. Thank you very much, all of you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
Thank you. Dhanyavadaha.
Thank you,
very much,
Guruji.
Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Namaskaram, Guruji. Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Thank you, Guruji. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you. Next class will be from Bombay.
Thank you, Guruji.
Traveling back to India on Tuesday. Yes, Hariji. What's your question? Today we have the opening batsman. Gavaskar is there.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Guruji, can you explain a little about Mimamsa? What actually Mimamsa means?
Word Mimamsa means analysis. Analysis of what? It is in the context of the Vedas.
Yeah,
What we have got the Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa.
yeah,
Purva Mimamsa means analysis of the mantras of Veda Purva Bhaga. All mantras, rituals, why
yeah,
the rituals are performed, what is the meaning of those rituals, what benefits those rituals will give you. All these things are analyzed, including it includes the analysis of the word, the derivation of certain words itself in the mantras. That is Purva
Okay.
Mimamsa analysis. Uttara Mimamsa analysis is done in Brahma Sutra. That is Vedanta Mimamsa. Analysis of all the messages of Upanishads. That is Brahma Sutra. So there is Jaimini Sutras which are there for Purva Mimamsa and Brahma Sutra of Veda Vyasa for Uttara Mimamsa, which is Vedanta analysis. The word Mimamsa itself simply means analysis. That's all.
Is it Bhashyam and Mimamsa are they same?
No. Bhashyam is only explaining the meaning of the content of the Vedas. Mimamsa is analyzing that. Using, because when the Bhashyam, they won't subject to Veda mantras or what Vedas say, the message of the Vedas, to critical analysis, that is analysis against reasoning, logic, etc.
Yeah,
They will just give the meaning. Whereas in Mimamsa, they will pick up whatever Veda says or Vedanta says, they will analyze it and try to establish the purpose for which the mantra is done is achieved. We can understand that purpose even logically it is possible. Because the biggest problem with Veda and all that, suppose you say that Putra Kameshti Yagam is there. You do this yajna, you will get a child. Now, logically, we know how we get a child, correct? Question now is, how can your performance of a yajna, putting some oblations into the fire, etc., make your spouse pregnant? Does it look reasonable, logical? Now, from our understanding, we know a certain process is involved in getting pregnant. Which process is not talked about in the Vedas? It is talking about something else. Light a fire, put these oblations, and then payasam will come and you give it to these people and all that, to your spouse. Does it look logical? So, what is said, because it appears logical, may be rejected by people. I don't believe in this. That's what many people lost faith in all these Vedic mantras and Vedic rituals, etc. because of this reason only. Because nobody has, Mimamsa is a very important area of study. Only like Brahma Sutra, you will not be able to appreciate the message of Vedas, Aham Brahmasmi and all that, or whatever messages are there, sadhanas are there, the whole world is mithya, it says, Upanishad says, Jagat mithya, Brahma Satyam Jagan mithya. All that you will just reject. You say, how Jagan mithya? I am experiencing this world. I can touch the world. I can interact with the world. How do you say it is mithya? So, how to understand all this logically, applying our reason is all Mimamsa. It is not just the word meaning, Mimamsa will never give. In fact, in Mimamsa, they will refer to the Upanishads and say, this is what is said in that Upanishads and this is what it means. It is how it is analyzed, should be analyzed. And because, for example, if you take Brahma Sutra, it is Adi Shankara's Bhashyam. What is Mimamsa? Mimamsa is Brahma Sutra, is Mimamsa. Correct? Now, even if we read Brahma Sutra, we won't understand anything. So, a Bhashyam is required. And in the Mimamsa, Brahma Sutra Bhashyam, you can call it a Mimamsa Bhashyam. So, Adi Shankara explains each sutra and then he will quote, he will first explain what the sutra means. Then he will bring in lot of material in order to establish from Vedic angle, from Nyaya Shastra angle, how what is said in Brahma Sutra is correct, is acceptable. So this is the whole process of Mimamsa. And that is why Brahma Sutra is taught to us in the end. After studying of Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, etc., a lot of this Prakarana Granthas, once you have understood, the whole assimilated that knowledge at the intellectual level, still your intellect says, this is not acceptable to me. So actually, Mimamsa study is a part of Manana. If you have got any doubt on any of the aspects which is taught in the Shravanam stage, you refer to the Mimamsa and then you will get. In fact, that is what most Acharyas also do. The explanations is not right just from the Bhashyam alone. Many things are explained from Brahma Sutra, Bhashyam of Adi Shankara and Brahma Sutra, etc. That is how. In fact, advanced, that is serious spiritual. Puja Swami Dayananda Saraswati spent 3 years learning only Brahma Sutra from one guru. Specialized course, 3 years Brahma Sutra alone, nothing else. Day in and day out, Brahma Sutra, Mimamsa, Adi Shankara's commentary. That is what is Mimamsa is. You get it?
So actually,
Hmm.
yeah, I got it. And Mimamsa is, let us say, the 4 Vedas. In all Vedas, we have got Uttara Mimamsa and Purva Mimamsa.
Actually,
Am I
it is
correct?
not, no. See, the thing is, there are no 4 Vedas. There is only one Veda.
Yeah.
And the one Veda has been, you can call it divided into 4 Vedas by Veda Vyasa.
Yeah. Arrange.
Arranged, that's all. From a Mimamsa point of view, it will not talk about each mantra like a Bhashyam.
Okay.
It will take a certain concept which is being said by the Vedas, and then it will explain that concept
Okay.
with the help of the Veda mantras. It will analyze that. I mean, I'll give you a very simple example. Of course, we'll go into totally different tangent. Simple example.
Yeah.
The first sutra of Brahma Sutra is what? You know the first sutra. I just told it in the class also.
No,
Atato Brahma Jignasa. Right? That is the first sutra. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Jignasa means what? Jignasa means a curiosity or a yearning for knowing something.
no,
A hunger for knowing something is jignasa. Thirst for knowing. Knowing what? Brahma. Brahman. What is Brahman? I want to know. Right? That is what we have been doing, you say. It says atato. Atato got two words, ataha and ataha. Ataha and ataha. That is atato. So what is the two ataha? Ataha means, one ataha means therefore, another ataha means thereafter. Therefore, thereafter, there is a thirst, quest for learning about Brahma. Now, this is very simple. We know what is Jigyasa. We know what is Brahma. What is this Ata? Therefore, thereafter. For what is meant by therefore, thereafter, there is a huge Bhashya explanation. What is that? Basically, to tell you, it means that after completing the Purvam Bhaga of the Vedas, therefore, that is thereafter means after completing the Purva Bhaga, after studying the mantras, after studying the Mimamsa of the Purva Bhaga, once you have understood the entire scheme of the Vedas, Purva Bhaga Vedas, completely assimilated, convinced about it, only then Ataha, therefore, Brahma Jigyasa. Right now, come to Vedanta and understand what is Brahman. Analyze what is Brahman. From what? Using the Upanishad mantras. So, this whole thing, if you just study Atato Brahma Jigyasa, you will not get any idea what it is about. And then this one sutra is analyzed, and the minimum class, number of classes we can have to understand that analysis is not something like 20, 30 classes. In Gurukulam, we are taught out of 555 sutras in Brahma Sutra, we are taught only 4 sutras in the Gurukulam towards the last 2 months of the course. On an average, each sutra takes 15 days. And 15 days also, not one class. 3 classes, 15 days, each sutra takes it. That makes it 45 days of class, 45 lectures. That is the depth into which I am only talking about the Vedanta portion. You can imagine the Purva Bhaga portion, how much analysis will be there and how much study one has to do. Because you have, if you are a teacher, if you are a Brahmana doing Adhyayanam and Adhyapanam, very important that you must be 100% convinced about what you are teaching. Then only you can really be a teacher. Otherwise, if a student students are intelligent. Students are not only your students, they must have studied so many other with acharyas and all, and other acharyas would have given them a lot of knowledge. And when you are teaching, a student may raise a question, and if you are not able to convincingly answer the student, then you have a serious problem as a teacher, as a guru. And that is why this analysis all become very, very, very important rather. So that is all about Mimamsa.
It is written by whom, or is it Vedavyasa or Mimamsa?
Yeah, Vedavyasa wrote Brahma Sutra, no? But his Mimamsa is in a sutra form, which we will not understand.
Ah,
So for that Mimamsa, we require
Bhashyam.
a Bhashyam, a Tika. It doesn't stop with Adi Shankara's Bhashyam alone. There is a Tippani, Tika, so many other subcommentaries are there. Because many times what Adi Shankara writes also, we may not be able to understand. So we have to go to subcommentaries. So many renowned commentators are there. So Anandagiri, Tika, so many are there. We will refer to them and understand what is being said by Adi Shankara. So this is a whole lifetime project. In fact,
Ramaraya Kavi.
yes, Ramaraya Kavi is there. So many.
Sachidananda Saraswati.
Yeah. I mean, there are so many, as I said, renowned Tikakaras. You have to study them also. Where they will also give certain different perspectives, which is very useful. It is not just only you are looking at Adi Shankara's perspective. They will, because these kavis are later kavis, they are later. As the time goes, they imbibe more and more logic, more and more knowledge of the worldly affairs. So they will also look at those things, what even Adi Shankara has said, from a more, our point of view, what we can understand, what we can digest, which appeals to our intellect. Sorry?
Swami Paramatmananda says about Vishnudevananda, who is a footnote specialist.
Yeah.
Kailasasram.
Yes, exactly. Footnote specialist. So you should read the footnotes also. It's a huge project. I mean, it's a lifetime project, I tell you. We have started this in this life is a very big achievement. Till the previous life, maybe we might have started a little bit in the previous life and continuing in this life. But the beginning is already made. Now our future lives only will be further progression till such time that the cotton catches fire. That is what it is. And that's why, we find some sadhakas, they are able to understand these things very easily. Some of them struggle because of their Purva Janma. They are bringing a lot of material, samskaras. A Sukshma Sharira has traveled. So Chitta, Ahankara, everything is traveled along with that. Buddhi, Manav, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So they are able to bring back some of that knowledge, though not all of that, whenever they are hearing that. As I told you the story of Puja Swamiji also. Vedanta was a completely, this thing for him. I mean, he didn't like Vedanta, he didn't believe in Vedanta. But when he heard one of the talks of Swami Chinmayananda, he felt that I have heard this before. Somewhere I have heard all these things. It is making sense to me now. Same thing happened with me also. When I heard that Swamiji from Chinmaya group. So this is how the progress takes place rather. Every janma you will progress. So that is what it is. Are you done with your questions or any more questions?
No,
No, it is useful because
you have given me material for me to.
yeah, exactly. And for other students also, your questions are very useful so that it might not have occurred to them, but then they get the benefit of the answer of that question. Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
Sorry?
I said thanking Mr. Hari Ramakrishnan for asking that question.
Yeah. No, that's why I always look forward to him in the class. He's the opening batsman.
He is a thinking person.
Yeah, sorry,
He's a thinking person.
thinking? No, yeah, everybody should be thinking, but some people think loud, And he has the, I would call it, he takes the initiative to ask the question. Because more than the class, satsang is a very important aspect of our teaching rather. Many doubts get cleared in satsang. And that's why, in our system, we don't allow questions to be asked when the class is going on. Questions are reserved only towards the end. So that is our system of teaching and learning. So it is very useful. It's very good.
The Mimamsa word comes up in the discussion of Buddhism. I mean, isn't it? I mean, like,
Basically means analysis. It is
okay.
not some exotic word or anything. It's a Sanskrit word, means analysis.
And it is quite distinct from Bhashyam, as that is the
Distinct from
important thing.
Bhashya. Exactly.
Yeah.
Bhashyam only explains the word meanings. Right. In Bhashya,
Commentary.
occasionally Adi Shankara touches into the logical aspect, very occasionally rather, but doesn't go too deep into it. He doesn't try to establish logically how it is correct. Whereas in Mimamsa, they will use Nyaya Shastra. Brahma Sutra uses Nyaya Shastra a lot. Because again, what is reason, what is not reason, what is logical, what is not logical, there is a whole science to it. We should not think that what is appealing to my mind is logical, what is appealing to your mind is illogical. That is not logic. Logic is a subject matter itself. One has to study Nyaya Shastra, Tarka Shastra. Even while arguing, there are rules. It is just like, when you are arguing, two lawyers are arguing in a court. They have to argue within certain parameters designed by the jurisprudence. They can't just come up with their own set of arguments, own style of arguing. That will not be allowed. Similarly, Mimamsa also has to adopt a certain parameters for discussing, analyzing. You can't just analyze on your own. I think this is good analysis. No. Laukika, we are doing all those things. But when it comes to actually analyzing the scriptures and all that, there are rules based on which only analysis can be made. And that is why, Brahma Sutra, Adi Shankara wrote one Bhashyam. Then Ramanujacharya has written another Bhashyam. Ramanujacharya's Bhashyam, he points out the weaknesses of Adi Shankara's Bhashyam. Correct. Unfortunately, Adi Shankara preceded Ramanujacharya, so Adi Shankara does not have an opportunity to
Explain.
what he has
Rebut.
So then when we are studying, we should study both Ramanujacharya and Adi Shankara. We must have good knowledge of Tarka Shastra, and then we will be able to come to our own conclusion, which is correct. It is not necessary that just because Adi Shankara is saying we should swallow it, or Adi Shankara has said it's correct. No. If there is another way of looking at it, look at Ramanujacharya's Bhashya. He gives a different explanation. Of course, Ramanujacharya, Adi Shankara approaches from Advaita. Ramanujacharya approaches everything from Visishta Advaita perspective. That we should keep in mind. If Ramanujacharya is saying something, if that Adi Shankara is not correct in saying this, that means he is not saying it from Advaita perspective. He is saying it from Visishta Advaita perspective. All these things, when we study, we have to keep in mind when we understand this analysis and all that. So many aspects are there.
Which
That's how-
eventually means, Guruji, we have to be a Sanskrit expert. Otherwise,
That's why the Tarka, Vyakaranam, all that you have to be expert and at least that have good knowledge. You need not be a scholar, but you must have good knowledge or at least know where to look for what.
okay.
Because Mimamsa is, you can compare it to a PhD stage.
Okay.
Any subject, when you go through undergraduate, postgraduate, you come to doctorate stage. What kind of a background, what kind of a knowledge you must have. So at that stage, the kind of thesis you will prepare, based upon whatever you again experiment, you will, of course, in thesis, you will have your own theory which you want to prove. So we can say comparatively, when you come to Brahma Sutra or, the Purva Mimamsa and all that, that is the PhD, even postdoctoral stage rather. So that kind of knowledge you must have about the subject matter at that stage, including Tarkashastra, Vyakaranam, all this, the Ashtangas which are there, Niruktam, the Ashtangas of Vedas, you must have very good knowledge of Ashtangas. All
That's why
the,
walk sadhasas are all done.
sorry?
That's why walk sadhasas are all being conducted.
Yeah. It's a totally different, it's like a film world is totally different. The scriptural world is totally different. And it requires dedication right from birth. I mean, the moment you are born. That is why if you are born into a family where that atmosphere is there, then automatically you will be, put in that line. That's what Krishna is going to say later on. He will say that.
Gehe.
Yeah, you will be born in a family which will actually support all these things. Such self-confidence you gain when you study all these things, that I don't need to worry. All these materialist thing, okay, I have done in this janma, finished. I don't need them anymore. This is my goal. So I will now proceed, whether in this janma, next janma, let me take 50 janmas. As long as I am in this path, I have no problem. I'm not going to be distracted. So this is how the whole spiritual path, and that is the ultimate path. This is the last journey of any jiva. After this journey, even if it takes years and millennium of years, eventually you will reach that goal, is what the Vedas say. Veda Shastras say. So what is the problem? Once you are set on the journey, keep walking, keep traveling, speed up whenever possible. Sometimes things will happen, will slow you down. Doesn't matter. Wherever you can walk fast, walk. I mean, typically, like, I compare it to this trek to Vaishno Devi, which I have done once in my
Okay.
life. Right? It's a very, very arduous trek. In fact, the Vaishno Devi you can keep seeing, but it never comes. You cross one hill, two hills, and of course, if you have a guide, it's a different thing. But if you are good trekking, rather, not taking this pony or something like that, you just go on, you become very tired. Take some rest. So that one climbing one hill itself is such an arduous task. You have to take some rest, drink some water. Afterwards, you will see one plain road, one stretch of road. You can walk there fast. Then again, you start climbing. So similarly, in this spiritual journey also, there will be some tough periods, other distractions will be there. You will become tired, you will take rest. But then will come another period where you can walk fast. Then at that time, you must use the opportunity to walk fast. That is how, ultimately Vaishno Devi or Brahma Jnanam will come. So you will have reached Vaishno Devi, and when you reach Vaishno Devi, such a happiness you get, you forget everything else in the world. You feel that all the effort, that 8 hours of walking and climbing, the trekking, it has paid off. All because of the 2 or 3 minutes darshan of that Vaishno Devi goddess, right?
Like the Sabarimala also 40 kilometers.
Sabarimala, yes, Sabarimala again. You start right from this thing. Sabarimala also I walked. And Sabarimala I walked when I was in the Gurukulam, actually, rather. And I'm a diabetes patient. I have got a problem with my legs, I've got diabetic neuropathy. So I have to be very careful. If there is a wound in my leg, probably it may not get healed. And I walked right from Pamba to Sabarimala without, footwear. I walked. And I would not say I walked, I was taken there by Bhagavan. So all these things, you will get the same feeling when you reach the summit. You will get the same feeling when you reach that final summit of Brahmajnana. Aham Brahmasmi, when it's fully understood and imbibed and assimilated, that Ananda is something totally different. We can't even imagine that Ananda.
Yam labdva naparam labam.
Yam labdva na aparam labam. That is what it is. So this journey we have started. Let us keep moving on. Okay. Okay, then I think we will we'll close the session. It has been going on for half an hour. Continue in
Thank
the
you.
next class.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Thanks.
You-
Thanks.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om.